this at a young age. She has since come to the West and become a vocal critic of this practice and of fundamentalist Islamic beliefs in general. Ayaan Hirsi Ali joins us tonight. Ayaan, thanks a lot for coming on. So,
Tucker, thank you very much for having me.
So as far as I understand, this practice, which has been banned for 20 years, no one's ever been prosecuted for committing it in the United States. Does that mean it doesn't happen?
No, it happens, and it happens a lot. I've started the AHA Foundation back in 2007, and girls have been coming to us, women have been coming to us, whistleblowers, pediatricians. We know that it happens, and I first of all have to say I commend the FBI on this particular case. In this case, there was a whistleblower in 2013 who said, you know, this is going on, and the FBI did a good job of finally catching and having enough evidence to prosecute this particular doctor. I think it's going to send the necessary message to those who still continue to do it. But Tucker, unfortunately, there are 26 states in the United States that have no laws. There is a federal law, but there are these 26 states where, and it makes it easy for people who want this done to little girls to shop around. The family, some of the little girls that this particular woman mutilated, they were brought in from Minnesota, where it is banned, to Michigan, where there is no proper ban. So there's a lot of work to do still.
You know, this practice is so cruel and horrifying that I'm not even going to, and I don't want to, describe what precisely it is on television, but it's truly awful. And I think any Westerner hearing about it would agree with that. Why has nobody been prosecuted? You sound like you've known, and that it's maybe common knowledge among those who look to find the answer, that it happens. So why has law enforcement not been on this?
Well, I think it's because people don't really like talking about the genitals of little girls. And yes, I believe, and in my foundation, we believe we really do have to describe what happens. The clitoris of little girls is removed, and their labia are then sewn shut. This is done to kill the libido, the sexual libido of girls when they become teenagers and women, and it's to ensure their virginity. That's what we need to know about it. Some people have religious reasons for doing it. They say it's because of Islam that they do, and others say it's because of culture or a mixture of that. That can never be an excuse to harm girls that way.
No, it's absolutely horrifying, and I don't know why this isn't on the lips of every representative of every human rights group, women's rights group in America. This is so upsetting that I'm still baffled as to why we've ignored it. Well,
the AHA Foundation, my organization, has gotten legislators to take up some legislation. You know, we've passed successfully legislation in several states. We're still lobbying. But what we come across is there's this crazy identity politics in the United States of America now. And when girls who are, you know, at risk of these horrible and horrifying practices, FGM is just one, but there are others, what we see is that people are willing to sacrifice the rights of these little girls in the altar of identity politics. It's very difficult for people to talk about the cultures and the religions and the harmful practices that are done by minorities, and this is happening to minority little girls.
I hate to think you're right, but I suspect you are. And to think the price that these children are paying for the prim sensibilities of our ruling class is really, really upsetting. So what is the penalty for those who are caught doing this, or the one person who's been charged with this?
Well, again, we are really happy with this prosecution. Let's watch what happens. But I think what we need to do is to inform the American people. We try and educate pediatricians, teachers, law enforcement, all sorts of service providers, people around children, that this is a practice that is increasing. There are 500,000 little girls today in the United States who have either undergone or are at risk of being subjected to this. We need help. My foundation can do way more, but we don't have the resources, and we need help. We need money to get this going, to employ the right people, and to get a lot of people to lose their inhibitions and really stand up for these little victims. They're as young as 5 years old, 6 years old. They're taken away during the summer vacation to either their countries of origin or to states that have no penalties. That needs to stop. It's on our conscience.
God bless you for doing this. So my producers just said in my ear, we just looked it up in the control room, and the federal penalty for this is 5 years. If there's any crime that deserves a serious penalty, I think it's this one. So thank you for making this public, as hard to talk about it as it is. Ayan, thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Up next, our panel will debate what of the day's stories is the most ludicrous, and of course, there are many to choose from. We'll be right back.
On.
Time now for Top That, where we bring on two of the smartest people we know to tell us what's the most ludicrous story in the news today. It's a competition, but you know, everybody wins. Tonight's duelist, Kennedy, the host of the aptly named Kennedy, and Jessica Tarloff, senior director at Bustle.com and a Fox News contributor. Congratulations. Kennedy, to you first.
Congratulations, Jesse. Oh. And her family owns a vineyard. So heads up, Tucker.
It's fantastic.
Bring people together with good news. And strange news. James Cracknell is an Olympic gold medalist. He won 2 Olympic medals in rowing. And he went on the TV, on Sky News in Great Britain, claiming he was a portly child, a chubby teenager, and he had to turn his life around. He did just that and became a world champion rower. And so, of course, he wants other people to also rein in the BMI. And he said the only 2 countries on earth who've really figured out the obesity problem, it's not the UK and the United States, as you would imagine. No, he actually gave the big endorsement to North Korea and Cuba. Those 2 countries.
What about Ethiopia in the 80s? Or no?
That is way too retro for, for
was
this
he
young
being
man.
serious?
He was being absolutely serious because he's really he's earnest about his fitness, and he thinks if you're going to make behavioral changes, you have to have a very structured life. And he was saying, you know, they've got a great deal of structuring that happens in North Korea and Cuba, these single-party statist communist countries, and it's like saying that starvation is a cure for obesity, the way drowning is a cure for swimming.
Famine helps too.
Yeah, sure does.
That's gonna be tough to top. Can you?
I'm really not sure. I actually love that story. I saw it earlier, and I was like, I wish that was my Top That story. But I've got one. So you may have heard that Democrats are upset that Donald Trump is president.
The
rumors are true.
It was in the papers right now. Yes.
So a 75-year-old woman in Texas called up her ex-husband. This is even her current husband, though I guess she could probably just, you know, turn over if she was talking to her current husband because he was dying and he only had a few days left to live, and she wanted to give him a really positive final thought, so she just told him that Donald Trump had been impeached, and apparently he immediately relaxed and he died peacefully. And that was all that he needed to hear that the nightmare is over. Though I was wondering if he responded, well, Mike Pence is going to be worse, you know, which is what
Wait, so
my
she
massive...
lied to him
She
in
lied
his final moments on Earth. What are the spiritual ramifications of that, do you suppose?
I have no idea. I'm not a great, like, higher power person. I believe in karma and fate, I guess. God, we can talk about on another segment. I'm sure there's something, but I do think as an ex, also, this is kind of an astounding thing to do, to take the reins on this one.
So you have a person whose final sentiment is Trump has been impeached and dies happy, and then someone who's recommending the North Korean diet plan. You both win. I can't pick one. I'm sorry. They're too good. I'm sorry.
Is this the first time that there's been a tie?
Tonight.
Awesome.
For the first time. Thank you both. That was awesome.
Thank you, Tucker.
Up next, do you need proof the Second Amendment is a shield against tyranny? We'll take you to the country of Venezuela, still barely a country where the government disarmed the populace and now refusing to surrender power. Details ahead.